I do.
Councillor Davies?
I do.
Councillor Gomez?
I do.
Councillor Harrison?
I do.
Councillor Ho? Councillor Wade?
I do.
Deputy Mayor Mackenzie?
I do.
And I do as well. We've got one agenda item tonight. It relates to Citizens Park Sports Ground temporary lighting changes. The motion is on your online. It's there online. It's also on the screen. We have a mover, which is Councillor Harrison. Do we have a seconder for that?
Sorry,
Councillor Deputy Mayor
sorry,
Mackenzie?
can we ask questions first of the officers?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Before we move into moving the motion, we've got a question from Councillor Davies.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Hewitt.
Mr. Hewitt, I have a question about the cost of the lighting. Who pays the bill?
Through you, Mayor, the council heavily subsidises the cost of sports field lighting.
Councillor Davies.
So just for clarity, that means we subsidise it in full 100%, or is there someone else contributing?
Through you, Mayor, I think a dot point about 26 or 27 lists a council report in February 25, so this year, where we outline quite a bit of detail about that. Essentially, council subsidises well over 85% of the cost. Sports clubs pay a couple of dollars per hour for the use of sports lighting, but passive lighting or lighting for other recreational users is not charged.
Councillor Davies.
Yep. So in terms of what is being suggested here, do you have an estimated costs for this extension per annum, for example?
Through you, Mayor, I don't. I mean, it's a couple of hours daily for the next few months. The report from February estimates the power costs for recreation at $2 million. The council can expect an increase in bill, but I couldn't tell you a price. I'd be guessing.
Thank you. You got another question? Yeah.
Yeah. One last question. In terms of the sporting clubs that you mentioned, what's the process of them agreeing to paying the additional fee if it's proportional pro rata?
Through you, Mayor, we won't be charging the sports clubs for this. This is largely for passive recreational uses, so dog walking and so on. So the sports clubs won't pay anything extra for this in the event that the council decides on this tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Hewitt. Any other questions? Okay, Councillor Harrison, you've got 3 minutes starting now. Thank you.
The lights on Citizens Park was something that came up right at the beginning of the year when we met with the community about, I guess, the friction there between the sports clubs, the users that want to use it for their dog walking, or just people who are not part of organised sport. I prepared a notice of motion which came to the February council meeting, and it's taken some time to deal with this issue. We obviously have a policy around lighting which will be reviewed in due course, and I look forward to that happening. But right now, I think the priority has got to be giving as much access to Citizens Park to other people that want to use it, in addition to the organised sport that's played there at the moment. People love to use Citizens Park. They come together. It's a place of connection, and I guess, you know, we have to work to accommodate everybody's needs and share these spaces. And by putting on the lights later, it means that the women who told us that they felt less safe because it wasn't lit at night will feel safer. The people that I'm sure are doing their best to clean up after their dogs will be able to do a better job of that. And we've got, I guess, a way of extending the use of the sports fields later into the evening so that more people in the community can access Citizens Park. It's really important for people's health and well-being that they actually get out there, and I think we should be supporting that. Yes, there's going to be a cost of having the lights on, but I think women's safety, shared use of the grounds outweigh the costs that we might be paying to have the lights on for a couple of extra hours in the evening over this coming period.
Deputy Mayor Mackenzie.
Thank you. I'll speak mostly to point 2 of this. It's why I'm also supporting it, that we are reviewing our public open space lighting policy across all of our public open areas. Look, I appreciate that this policy is a relatively new one, but I do think that even in the last short period of time, we've seen some really big changes. We've had new lights go into areas that are different sorts of lights, LEDs, can be controlled in different ways. And personally, in my ward, where we have many more ovals than in the southern parts of Yarra, still, this is something that comes up. Last council meeting, some Elphington residents tabled a petition asking for longer lights in Elphington Park. And earlier this year, joggers who run early in the morning, it started to bring up some of the issues that they're having at George Knott Reserve around early morning lighting. That has other matters attached to it, but it does really raise that there are different reasons why people want lights on. And I'd really love us to review this as we're doing some other large reviews in council, so that we can balance the environmental needs of people using all activities in our parks, and also acknowledge that our sports clubs are growing, and that is wonderful, but it does mean that we are needing to share our spaces even more, and that's certainly creating tensions, which Councillor Harrison has spoken about, which is why this motion came to council so early on. So thank you for this, and I look forward to working through that review of the public open space lighting policy.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak to this motion? No? I'll just say one thing. I was at the meeting last week, 100-odd people, dog owners, sports club representatives, and just general members of the public who wouldn't see themselves in either camp, if I can use those terms. Councillor Ho was there, Councillor Harrison, Councillor Mackenzie, and also obviously myself and the federal member. And it's become really clear to me in the last year, I mean, Councillor Crossan did warn me about this. I didn't really listen to him, unfortunately, but I am now, that this is the most contested sports ground in the city of Yarra, by far. And I was stretched to my limit last week to try and keep the peace at that meeting. The one thing that everybody agreed on, the only thing that everybody agreed on, was to extend the lights at Citizens Park by 2 hours. It's safer for people walking through the park at night. It's much less likely that the minority of dog owners who don't look after don't clean up after their dog will to continue to act in that antisocial way. It does allow more passive and even to a certain degree some active activity later into the night. I just checked on my phone. Sunset tonight in Melbourne was at 7:50. So you're talking an extra 2 hours and 10 minutes. It's only for a period of time. If we started trying to offload the cost of this to the dog owners or to the clubs which survive, the community clubs, with the smell of an oily rag, oh my God, we would have an absolute rebellion in our hands. We can't be being pointy-headed when it comes to our sports clubs. Even the richest people in Yarra, paying the most rates, are very, very happy, in my experience at least, to cross-subsidise to see some of their rates going for basic things like sports grounds, public open spaces, I should say, sports clubs for people walking their dogs. So I think this is a really, really good motion. Obviously, whether we do it elsewhere, we'll look at in a more broader way when we have the policy as a whole coming back to council in the not too distant future. But I would encourage everybody to support this, and it will be massively supported. And I've already had people stopping me in Bridge Road, and I'm going for a coffee on both people who are mad dog owners who don't like the sports clubs there, and people who are sports clubs who think the dog owners sometimes don't respect them. Both sides all saying the same thing. They're really excited about this motion from Councillor Harrison and Councillor Mackenzie. So yeah, I hope it gets passed. Would anyone else like to speak? Would you like your right of reply, Councillor Harrison? Okay, I'm going to put the motion. All those in favour, please raise your hand. That is passed unanimously, and on that basis, we close the meeting. Just before I close the meeting, I want to thank all those officers who've stayed on a lot longer than they would normally do on a PDC night. Thank you for being here, and everyone who's attended. And I close the meeting at 8:43 p.m. Thank you all.